Well, this is TVC News, and of course our special coverage of President Muhammadu Buhari's return to Nigeria. I am Ikechukwu Obienu. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to return to the country. That will be today after receiving medical attention in London. The president had left the country on May the 7th this year after handing over power to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who has functioned as acting president since then. A statement from the president's media aide said President Muhammadu Buhari will speak to Nigerians in a broadcast on Monday morning. He thanks all Nigerians who have prayed ceaselessly for his recovery and well-being since the beginning of the health challenge. Now let's bring in the Publicity Secretary of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Joy Bokwe, to discuss, of course, the imminent return of President Muhammadu Buhari to the country. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I can see you are very happy even without saying a word. but let me start by asking, just express how you feel that the president is returning to the country finally today.
I feel happy. As a Nigerian, as a change agent. You know, some people, when we do what we do today, some people don't understand where we're coming from. Since 1983, when Sheikh Shagari was removed from the office by force, we have been trying to get a progressive in government. If you remove 1983, I think it's about 35 years. 35 years. That's what we struggle for until we got Buhari in 2015. That's after 35 years. So for people like us, it's like we have come to rebuild this country, to take this country back to Nigerians. And then we had a combination of two, compatible, persons. I mean, the person of the president and the VP, as if God hands, was in their selection, in the election. So, but 1 year to 2 years after, we began to have these health issues, which can come to anybody. And we said, look, we saw some people celebrating. We saw some people even publishing his obituaries while the president is still alive. His speech is all over the place. We resorted to prayers. We said, well, if this man tried in 2003, he did not make it. 2007, he did not make it. 2011, 2015. After 12 years, God answered that prayer. After 35 years of searching for a progressive government, and God gave us one, that we are going to hold on to what we have. We are going to hold on to this. All right. So when people were celebrating, mocking, and we stood our ground. We stood our ground that nothing has gone wrong. And people started comparing this government. What happened during the time of Yar'Adua. I would say there's a difference. During the time of Yar'Adua, the power was not transmitted to the VP. And we spoke against it. The needful was not done. But this one, the president said, my deputy is capable. He's a professor of law, former Attorney General of Lagos State, a scholar in the finest tradition.
All right. All right. Now, the president is going to address Nigerians tomorrow when he returns, and that will be tomorrow. What exactly? Let's try and preempt what the president is going to tell Nigerians.
Well, he's going to be appreciative for the support, the prayers, and for the vice president, the acting president, to hold forth for him. And governance, the matters of governance, we are going on in his absence. No vacuum was created, as some people want us to believe. So the needful was done, and we are seeing the result. So the man he left in the saddle did not disappoint us. Right. And we are running away with the thinking that man did not make mistake in the first place by picking this capable, competent, VP.
All right, haven't been away for quite a while, more than 100 days or so. What do you think his imminent return will do in terms of, you know, stabilizing the country even more than it is, in terms of, you know, calming, you know, frayed nerves?
A lot of challenges, you know, that are still there. The Boko Haram issue is still there. It's still there. They still come to attack soft targets, you know, and they don't run away. We need to decimate Boko Haram. Then the insurgents, you know, we are seeing it around Nigeria. I mean, the agitators, you know, southeast where I come from. So there are some pockets of grievances all over the place, you know. Nigeria is a complicated and you know, complicated nation to rule. But I think it's competent to deal with these situations, you know, as they come. As a retired general, a former head of state, former governor, former minister, former chairman of PTF, and now the president. I think he has the whole lot of experience, the capacity and the integrity to deal with the challenges that we're facing now.
Right now, before he traveled, you know, as he, you know, ran the government, there were insinuations, you know, here and there, that the president wasn't in control, that apparently the government had been hijacked, you know, by some groups of individuals. Did you share that opinion as well?
I never did, and I will never. We elected one president and vice president, the joint ticket.
But what about the words from his wife, Aisha Buhari, when he talked about some sort of animal kingdom, you know, that hyenas and jackals, you know, would be, you know, chased out of government. When
I get you. I get where you're going now. You know, while he was away, some people were behaving funny. Some people think that they are now the president. Some people were taking advantage. You know, in a primitive, I don't want to call Nigeria a primitive society. People must know where to stop. I understand some people were even taking flights to London. The man was, the man chased them away. Go home. You know, people will always take advantage of the situation. This is Nigeria for you. People who don't understand the art of governance and how to respect officers try to take advantage of the situation. But thank God, the wisdom in the acting president, you know, he was able to deal with the issue. And thank God also for the president, who, you know, is a no-nonsense person. They just ask them, please go home. There is an acting president at home. Go there and deal with the situation. So people must do that. You know, we run what is called prebendal politics here. My person, my tribe, my ethnic group. I know some people, some part of this country, once their brothers become ministers or governors, they take their mat and go to that place and go and stay. You know, these are the issues, but we have to manage it. It's part of governance. Problems will come, and we would, those who are in charge will deal with it as they come.
All right. Of course, I understand correspondent standing by at the airport. Of course, apparently to tell us what's happening at the airport at the moment. Sifon, okay, is Sifon correspondent at the airport? All right, Sifon, okay, good, I can see you now. Sifon, tell us exactly what is happening at the moment. What's the feeling like around you? All right, let's continue in the studio here while our people, you know, try to establish contact with our correspondent at the international airport, of course, monitoring when the president is going to land. Well, now, when the president returns, what do you think would be the immediate concern that he is likely to address?
When he comes back, I think what the president will do is to ask his acting president, you know, to brief him, you know, what is going on. Where are we? I left Nigeria 100 days ago. What has happened? What have we achieved? Yeah. And the acting president will let these things be on the table. And he will kick off from there. He's going to brief him. He's going to talk to service chiefs. What is happening to security issues? While I was away, it looks as if the Boko Haram people are celebrating my absence. What is happening? Are you not what is happening? You talk to the leaders in the southeast. What is happening? Why are you there when somebody is taking laws into his hand? He's also going to talk to those who issued with notice. He's going to talk to them. He's going to know what went wrong. How do we get to this sorry pass? These are the things he's going to be saddled with when a lot on the table. A lot on the president's table. Don't forget that the box, stuff on the president's table. So he has this loads and cartons and trailers of problems to contend with, and I'm sure he will have the capacity to do that.
All right, but in the meantime, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to stay on this, talking about President Muhammadu Buhari's imminent return to the country. Stay with us. All right, of course, this is TVC News, and of course, this is ongoing coverage of President Muhammadu Buhari's imminent return to the country. And of course, I've had in the studio here Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Joe Igbokwe, in the studios here. All right, what you see on your screen is live feeds reaching us, from Abuja. Of course, people gathering, lining up there to welcome President Muhammadu Buhari back to the country. And we hope to talk to our correspondent, Seaphone Essien, who is also on standby there to give us further details of what's going on there. But in the meantime, let's stay in the studios here with Joe Igbokwe, the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress.
Lagos.
Yes, Lagos chapter.
Yes.
Now, in your analysis earlier, you talked about, security concerns. It would appear that we had some sort of upscale, a rise in number of attacks in the north, region, the northern region. What exactly do you think, went wrong?
No, nothing went wrong. It's the Boko Haram people are giving us the signal that it's not over until it's over.
So we may have been wrong to have declared that.
No, they said technically decimated, technically defeated. They didn't say completely. But what we have seen a couple of days ago is that there are still pockets of those insurgents, around Sambisa forest, and we must deal with it. Even though it's difficult to fight a guerrilla war, because what they do is to target soft, targets, and hit and run stuff. You don't know. So all we need to do is to police the ways, the roads, and mobilize more people to that place, and take the battle to them. Take the battle to them. Maybe there are still some parts of Sambisa forest that is still not yet cleared of Boko Haram insurgents. They should be able to clear it. We must take it serious. We must take war to them. Instead of allowing them to come in the dead of the night to take to our people, steal their goods, because they have been so decimated that they are now hungry. So they come in the night to take goats, take food, take all kinds of things, even without killing people. Out of anger, they burn their houses. That was what happened last week. So we are winning the war.
And of course, the acting president had a meeting with the security, chiefs, and asked them to relocate to the northern, region, go to the theater of war.
To Sambisa.
All right, I understand we have to go back to Abuja now, where our correspondent Seaphone Essien is standing by. I hope that we are able to talk to him now. Seaphone. Okay, our Abuja studios, I understand. Toby Johannes Wajuola, are you there? All right, Toby, thank you very much indeed for joining us from Abuja in our studios there. Well, I asked earlier, give us your thought as to the imminent return of President Muhammadu Buhari. In relation to what happened last week, protest, resume or resign. Now that he's coming back, tell us what you think.
We've not seen this much excitement and will I say anxiety from Nigerians expecting the return of the president. within the last 2 weeks, we've seen an excited, heated polity, people protesting, people counter-protesting, saying that their president will come back as at and when due. And within the last 2 weeks, we've also seen the aides to the president visit him, the governors forum, representatives of the governors forum visit him. We've also seen the APC leaders also visit the president. I think what we are having right now is a culmination of this entire events that have happened in the last 2 weeks. But we shouldn't be deceived to think that maybe the protest brought the president back, because he made it clear and very, very simple that until his doctors give him the go-ahead to come back to Nigeria before he would return back to the country. And that is what we have seen here. So we believe that right now we have a fit president. We have a president who like every other human being, went through a period of time where he was ill, has recuperated, and is now back to face the task that he was elected for. But one of the most exciting things that I can say right now is the fact that Nigerians are united in excitement to have the president back, because there is so much expectation, irrespective of the fact that there has been no vacuum in government. Governance has continued. Governance has been almost seamless, but there's this father figure that the president is. And he has come to put that on the table. Going to I've seen pictures from the airport. You were seeing a crowd of Nigerians on the social media. As soon as it was announced that the president will be arriving today, it's gone amok. The hashtag Baba Oyoyo has been all over the place. So there's this palpable excitement, but also there is also the thought that we must have in mind that as the president is back on seat, there's so many expectations. Nigerians gave him the mandate to give change, and the change, of course, is not a 2-year. It's not a 2-year mandate. It's a 4-year mandate. We've seen the president do almost 2 years plus. And we're expecting that in the next 2 years there will be a full fulfillment of that. And going forward, of course, the party, Nigerians will expect that there will be a consolidation of what we've already seen on ground.
Buharis, what do you think that the president's return will do, in the immediate?
Like I said, first of all, the president is the father figure. He's someone that is respected. He's someone that is adored by Nigerians. He's someone that is admired. It's when the father has been away for a while, that his presence alone has an effect on the polity, on the children, and polity in this instance here. So what we are going to expect is a strengthened governance. We're going to expect the acting president returning back to his role as vice president and focusing on the economic issues, the social investment programs that run under his office. The president will also return to take decisions on other issues. And one of the most important roles the president plays, or a president plays, is his decision making. He will give the go ahead on certain things. He will say, I want this to be done, I want that to be done. And we're going to expect that. We should also realize the fact that for this period of time the president has been away, he has been observing events that have been taking place in the country, and he has noted a lot of things. He told his Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and also the presidential media aides that visited him. He told them that I've been watching things, I've been updated by the press on things that have been happening. So certainly he has a lot of notes that he has made, a lot of things that he has noted that he wants to implement when he comes back. There are certain things he may feel not running well the way he would want them to run. There are certain people he may feel he needs to appoint on the table and to also give roles to play in the government. We should also look at the fact that the president, that some boards have not been appointed right now, as we stand right now, or as we sit down. So we're expecting the president to fill up those slots. So there's a lot that the president will be doing in terms of appointment, in terms of rejuvenation of his already existing appointees.
All right, Johannes, let's put you on hold. Just stay there. We're going to be back to you. But in the meantime, we need to go to our correspondent who's at Murtala International Airport awaiting the president's arrival. Sifon Essien. Sifon, If you can hear me, tell us the feelings that you have around you. What you can see as well.
Yes, it's pretty difficult here at this moment because we have a crowd. In fact, actually several crowds with several banners, and let me turn a little bit because we're actually shooting against the light, so we had better pictures of what is actually happening here. We have a crowd, and you can see the security operative are trying to manage the crowd here, the vehicles that are driving through the streets, and this is the entrance to the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, where these enthusiasts and supporters, you could call them, or Buhari people, are actually awaiting the arrival of the president. I can tell you, as I said earlier, security agencies are having pretty difficult time managing the crowd that have gathered here. We have banners indicating crowds that have come from neighboring Kogi states, Nasarawa state, and Benue state, all here to show their support and to welcome Mr. President back to Nigeria.
All right, SCN, well, as we know, expectation
is planning to touch down at the airport here, and we are happy that he's come back alive and hale and hearty to steer the affairs of states. And there's a lot of expectation. They believe that as he's coming back, he's going to step up in the fight against corruption, which is what what his administration stands for. And the belief, to a large extent, he's going to add some bites to invigorate the economy, and things are going to bounce back. Yes, they appreciate the acting capacity of the acting president Osinbajo, but they believe that the president on ground, a lot of things are going to change.
All right, Sifon, just hold on. We're going to be back to you, but let's let those who are watching us know that you can continue to watch this live broadcast, and of course continuing coverage of President Muhammadu Buhari's imminent return to the country on DSTV channel 148. All right. Let's talk to our studio guest here, Joe Igbokwe, Publicity Secretary, APC here in Lagos. So we're talking about some of the concerns that Nigerians have, especially the issue of security. The acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, had meeting with the security chief and asked them to relocate to the northern region the way that they did earlier. And you think that this time this will also do the same magic that it did at first? Of course.
Nigeria has a standing army. That is not something that you can just dismiss with a wave of hand in Africa. And I have no doubt in my mind that that they can do the needful. Probably we said, okay, we have decimated them and, technically defeated them. And then we withdrew and they came back. We need to, this time, take war to them. And live in that place. Build a formidable automated military barracks in Sambisa Forest. Build structures there.
I remember the army chief said that they were going to make it into a game...
yes, game village, whatever. Just make it a habitable place, secure the place, especially our borders, so that these people, and forestall this hit and run stuff, coming to take something, kill people, and you go away. It can be stopped. All we need to do is to apply technology, apply common sense, even though common sense is not common, and do the needful. These people are pockets of ragtag army who are taking advantage of they come to attack soft targets and go away, and ambush military personnel that are just traveling or going on their way and kill them. They must not have that advantage again.
All right. Now, let's talk about the country in general. So much expectation in really. When this government came into power, Nigerians just embraced the change mantra. And they just wanted to get away from, they just wanted something new. But do you think, in 2 years into the administration, do you think that this government has been able to, meet some expectations of Nigerians?
Of course. It's just that some people who lost the elections won't give it to you that there has been an improvement. They won't give it to you. But as a partaker in the political process since 1985, when I left school, I can tell you that much has happened in the past 2 years in terms of, committed governance, checkmating, corruption, doing the needful, be on the road, be on the where, be where the action is, and do the job. As I speak to you now, people may not see it, but we're seeing it. Even in the face of recession, our foreign exchange reserve is on the increase.
But there are people who are of the concern that it does appear that the administration succeeded. Well, just a moment, please. Let's go back to Abuja now. Our correspondent, Sifon, is standing by. Sifon, well, tell us, who are the top government functionaries that are expected at the moment?
As I said, it's pretty difficult hearing you, but if I can make sense of what you were saying, a lot of dignitaries are already on ground, and top-notch military officers are also on ground, and many others are still coming in from within Abuja and outside Abuja, and basically, they are coming in to receive Mr. President as part of the entourage to receive him, and we have to actually look out to actually see, right now, if we can actually see that security operatives are trying to manage the crowd. They are crossing from one side of the road to the other. Actually, we're trying to understand what is actually happening here, but from all indications, political bigwigs of the APC and those in support of Mr. President.
All right, Sifon. All right, we see live feeds of the president landing at the moment. Of course, that's what you see on your screen. The president's plane finally, Joe, has landed in Nigeria. Of course, Nigerians couldn't be, happier really that their president, who has been away for more than 100 days, is now back in the country in good health, of course, certified and healthy to continue in capacity as the president of the Republic of Nigeria. All right, Sifon, please go ahead while we, watch what's going on. Hello, Sifon.
Yes, going ahead with live coverage of what is happening here. Apparently, the news of the president's plane touching down has actually filtered out of the airport and to the streets, and the people are ecstatic and how they wish they could force their way into the airport, but for the security operatives who are on the ground to ensure Mr. President comes in home and safe, and managing, as well as managing the crowd that we have here. Many of them actually want to, have a feel of whatever it means to be Mr. President, maybe touch him as the case may be, but that wouldn't happen today for this crowd. But be that as it may, they are ecstatic. Mr. President's plane has touched down. They have heard the news, and their reaction says so, and they actually pushing their way closer, edging closer to the entrance of the airport. Of course, security, as I mentioned, has been beefed up. Security operatives are cool and calm and doing their work as much as they can to manage the crowd and ensure Mr. President comes into the country, drives through the streets, and heads to the seat of the power.
Sifon, just stay there for us. We're going to be back to you, but let's talk to our other guest in Abuja studio, Johannes. Johannes, thank you very much indeed for holding on. Well, the president's plane has just touched ground at the moment. He has arrived in the country very safely. All right. We understand, of course, those are dignitaries you see, of course, lining up to receive the president, the acting president. Of course, the dignitaries are led by acting president Yemi Osinbajo, and of course other dignitaries as well who are there to receive the president. Yeah, and Abba Kyari, the chief of staff, is also there as well. Is also one of the dignitaries there at the moment to receive the president as he gets off the plane. Yeah. And Chairman Governors Forum, we also hear it's there. Abdulaziz, Yari, of course, is there as well to receive the president. And Rochas Okorocha, we also hear, is there as well to receive the president. But in the meantime, Johannes, if you can hear me, the country, the president is finally back, and of course Nigerians are very happy indeed, Joe.
Of course.
Yeah.
It couldn't be better. It couldn't be better.
Yeah, and when we hear, top dignitaries are there, Rochas Okorocha, Abba Kyari, Chairman of Governors Forum, all of them led by the acting president, Yemi Oshibajo, there at the moment. Okay, all right, the president, very shortly will, step down, get off the plane. But I mean, just as the reporter at the international airport mentioned, this is like football, a football event that unites the entire country.
Of course.
Really, Nigerians in general are unanimously, excited.
The way he was unanimously elected.
Yes, absolutely.
See, when you have a popular president, that's what you expect. He came, a lot of goodwill when he came into the saddle, and many of them, millions of Nigerians, feel that he has not disappointed us. If you ask anybody on the street, they will tell you, the president and the vice president is the only one fighting corruption. But that's what it should be, because initiatives must come from the leadership. It goes down. It goes down. So like I said, it couldn't be better.
Yes.
Expectations are there. We cannot solve all the problems of Nigeria in one day. If it were to be so, it means that our problems would have been solved in the 60s. As your population is growing, challenges are coming. More, challenges, here and there. But it's the ability to deal with these challenges and then come out with the best you can do. That makes you a leader, and I'm sure he's capable of this. It doesn't know, we're praying that this kind of illness should not come again, because he needs his health to deal with these challenges. Nigeria is a complex country,
all right,
he's a very strong person.
All right, Johannes, if you are still there, expectations are very high, just as you mentioned earlier. This government is just about 2 years into the administration. What do you think? Has this government been able to, move in the direction that Nigerians expected when this government was elected?
Yes, absolutely. We've seen a government that first of all has met an almost moribund economy, has met a very almost divided country, a country that a lot of hate messages were being pushed out on the media, and the government has taken the bull by the horn. It first of all campaigned on three areas. It campaigned on the promise of security and fundamentally fighting Boko Haram. It also campaigned on rejuvenating the economy. It also campaigned on the economy, security, and of course I'm trying to remember the third arm of this government's campaigns. Then security. But let me start with security. When the government came, one of the first pronouncements that the president made was to order the service chiefs to return to the battleground in Maiduguri and to consolidate on the victory and to make sure that there was some victory. And over time, we've seen that the Boko Haram has been largely and technically decimated. They've not been able to regroup themselves to be able to, take over cities and take over towns like they were doing previously. We've seen an army that has been given more weaponry. We've seen an army that has gotten a morale booster, and that cannot be taken away. So and we must equally understand that fundamentally that the war against Boko Haram is not a war that will be won overnight. It's going to take time. Then secondly, you have the issue of the economy.
The motorcade continues to roll out one after the other, go by from coming out of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport.
Keep an eye for us, so that you tell us, whatever happens there, while you keep watch for us. But let's talk here in the studio. Of course, I still have with me here the Publicity Secretary, All Progressives ruling Congress in.
Vehicle. Yes, you can see that guarded heavily by his bodyguards to the right and to the left, and he has just sped past where we are and is heading apparently for the Aso Rock Villa seat of power of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's actually very rowdy here. We're actually managing the situation as best as we can to bring you this live broadcast. The crowd to the right and to the left, everywhere pressing in to have a glimpse and to catch a feel of what is actually happening here. And motorcade continues to go. Mr. President has actually passed the ones coming behind, and soon after now, all the vehicles would have made their way to the airport road, heading straight to the heart of Abuja, then there to the presidential villa, seat of the power. Hello? Well, more of the convoy actually driving out of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. As I mentioned earlier, the vehicle actually ferrying Mr. President has gone past earlier, and the other ones on the convoy actually coming. I think we've had more than 50 vehicles driving out on the President's convoy out of the airport. Earlier we saw the vehicle conveying the Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Onishaki, drive past other service chiefs, top-notch and VIPs, very important persons of government officials also driving past. We've seen governors of several governors from neighboring Kogi and other states in their own vehicle, joining up the convoy, driving out of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport to the admiration of supporters who many are hailing, say, Baba, traditionally, and some other chants as much as they can muster in their mouths. This whole place bustles with activity as to celebrate the return of Mr. President. The convoy keeps on going out. Yes, you just saw a vehicle, that of TVC, also on the convoy. It's a privileged one at that, and several other vehicles on the escorts, escorting Mr. President down to the presidential villa. The security operatives, a handful of them, are trying to manage the crowd. Yes, the crowd is becoming better controlled right now because they know Mr. President is already inside Abuja, in the heart of the Federal Capital Territory. So this one's actually, showing solidarity to those who are in the vehicles now driving out of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. An ecstatic moment for the crowd here that have formed the boulevard to the right and to the left of the streets leading to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport here in the nation's capital. They continue to chant and to hail at every vehicle passing in the celebration of the return of President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigeria, hail and hearty. I think very soon all the vehicles would have made their ways out of the airport. I think we're gradually getting to see the last on the convoy leaving the airport. Now that's the presidential guard, that received the president when he touched down. Yes, still from the presidential guard and other vehicles. These are from the State Department, State Security Service, the secret police of the Nigerian government, and you have all the top-notch military operatives there. You have from the Guards Brigade, that's the Guards Brigade commander driving out, and now we have the last but one vehicle driving out of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. A splendid moment, you can say, ecstatic moment for those who have actually come to receive Mr. President. Right at the moment, you can see them chanting behind me, say Baba, the traditional say Baba. At the moment, they are happy, excited that President Muhammadu Buhari has come back. Let's just allow you catch up yourself. Say Baba, say Baba, say Baba, say Baba, say Baba. There you have it, supporters of Mr. President chanting, say Baba. At the moment, Mr. President has returned for them. It's a milestone, it's a good one that Mr. President is back in Nigeria here and hearty. It's been splendid covering this event, and I'd like to thank you very much for staying with us all through this coverage of the return of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigeria, hail and hearty. I'd like to thank you very much for staying with us once again. My name is Sifon Essien.
All right, Sifon Essien, thank you very much indeed. Well, of course you could see the the mood, how extremely ecstatic that Nigerians were. They're chanting "Say Baba, Say Baba." I mean, more like a national event.
Oh, of course, that's what it should be. The president of Nigeria, Nigeria is not a small country. A president of about 160 million people. I mean, you can expect less. You can expect less. Given the, of course, you know the politics. You know the politics that played. You know, this is a man whose obituary, like I said, was posted while he's still alive. You saw the politics. As he, you know, somebody said he was forced out of London by the protests, you know. But this is a man who was honest enough to tell you people, look, I am waiting for the advice of my doctors to do what I need to do. And people are playing politics with it. One lesson we must learn from this is that no man has the right to take life of anybody. No man has control of anybody's life. That you can do whatever you feel you can do, but you don't have control over someone's life. And you cannot determine what happens to that person. And Nigerians must also know when a help is on hand, given what is going on here and what we passed through before. You know, I always post, I said, you know, quoting Top Man Harriet, he said, I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed more if only they knew they were slaves. You know, given our past, where we're coming from, and where we are. And I know we've always said that whatever we have lacked in this country can be traced to corruption, directly traced to corruption. This man came, and he has been fighting it. Look at, do you know the number of houses that we have recovered? He threw EFCC with the money, the TSA account, and just look at it the other day. Professor Ishak Oloyedo of JAM posted 5 billion into the federal government coffers. It has never happened before. Just like the man in the customs, 460 billion, half a year. It has never happened before.
So it could be said that the integrity of the man, President Muhammadu Buhari, it's you know, gradually rubbing off on.
No, of course. You know. That's what I said. When a man is sitting in the saddle.
Yeah, but just a moment. Let me interrupt you and go to the man in Abuja, Toby, thank you very much indeed for still staying on. Well, you talked about, of course, Nigeria, getting out of recession, but isn't it? Do you think it's not? It's not theoretical rather than practical, because the prices of goods and services are still very high up there.
Well, it's like I said, it's not going to be a 2-year thing. The statistician general just said that we may have left recession by as at June. What we're currently saying is inflation, the rise in prices, but when it comes to inflation in itself, we have actually moved past that stage. And having inflation, the inflation rates drop down is going to take its own time. It's going to be the effect of so many of good policies being put in place. It's going to be the effect of more agricultural products being available, prices going down, also the growth of more industries in the country. So it's going to take its time, and it will be very deceitful if anyone would say that we are going to have this whole setting, this whole issues that we have currently being dissipated by the wave of a hand. It's not going to be that. It's going to take time. We're going to see. Like I think it has been earlier said by the president that we're going to see hard times. We're going to see times that are going to be rough, but we all have to come together to make sure that we're able to go through these hard times and come out stronger. And that is what we're saying. At the end of the day, we're going to have a country that is a manufacturing country. We're going to have a country that is industrialized, and these are the things that we are looking towards, and any government should put its eyes on. And clearly, we are seeing the Buhari administration looking towards industrialization of the country. We shouldn't make the mistake of continuing to rely on an economy that is just strictly importation, strictly importing items as small as toothpicks and biros and pencils and chicken or even eggs. This is embarrassing. So in the long run, we are going to eventually have an economy that can withstand other economies, an economy that can produce its own. And we're starting that already. We're saying that with the whole mantra of we need to eat what we grow and we need to grow what we eat.
All right, Joe, hold on. We'll be back to you, Johannes. Well, we were
talking about integrity.
Yes, yes.
And I said, you know, the richest man on earth, Warren Buffett, he said, if you are looking for somebody to employ, and the person has, you know, the person is intelligent, he's hardworking, very energetic, has energy, and then the third one is integrity. He said, if he does not have the third one, integrity, don't bother to look at the two, the 1 and 2. That's intelligence and energy. If the person doesn't have integrity, everything is lost.